During the Dark Age of technology, humanity built machines that could manipulate the warp itself. In this video, we look at how the Emperor combined Dark Age technology in the Golden Throne with other technologies, with other knowledge sources, the Aeldari for one, and how he shares several links to them, implied within the lore, and we examine what it reveals about how the Emperor and ancient humanity once wielded powers the Imperium can barely control today. And this is part of a series exploring Dark Age technologies and what they tell us about the Imperium's foundations. So friends, welcome to another 40k video, and shall we begin? The Golden Throne is what the Emperor uses to guide the energy of the Astronomicon. From there he commands the Imperium, a spirit behind the whisper of inspiration in the ears of a sister of battle, or a direct intervention to save his Primarch son. And using it, he can also seal the breach in the webway to ensure demons don't flood Earth. There are a few things we know for certain about the Golden Throne. Its central module, and I assume that the throne itself is from the Dark Age of technology, and seems to suck psychic energy from those who sit on it, but it also lets them use that energy in ways I've described above. But we also get mentioned within a description that there is aeldari technology within it, that the Emperor has woven into the machine this tech to make it his own, as part of a larger whole, from the novel Dark City by Chris Wright. Well worth a read, by the way. Here an Inquisitor is giving a look at the mechanisms built around the throne. As the Fabricator General spoke, a small part of the hololith was illuminated. Kral had no idea of the scale. The lit section might have been a few meters across, or maybe 100, or maybe a kilometer. This is a component of the junction. You may recognize the style of the insertion. It is non-metallic in construction, immensely strong, resistant to most forms of molding and recasting. It is cyclically charged and forms an integral part of the region's material function. The viewpoint moved a little closer, zeroing in on the illumination component. Observe the markings on the casing here. The markings were runes, not Gothic runes, not even archaic Terran. Impossible, said the Inquisitor Spinoza. On the contrary, said the dwarf, the deeper one delves, the more such inscriptions one finds. Some are of unknown provenance, some are beyond our ability to parse. The throne itself, the physical object that forms the core of the entire machine, is certainly not of human origin. So to me it seems to describe aeldari, wraithbone, with bits like non-metallic and resistant to moulding or recasting, cyclically charged. Now, short aside, the throne being Xenos tech runs counter to what the Emperor says, where he found it on Terra, but I think with point of views, both ideas could be right. Now, listen to the definition of wraithbone from the 2nd edition Aeldari Codex. To paraphrase, the aeldari wraithbone is an immensely resilient material. If damaged, it can repair itself. In craft rules, it provides structure and is a conduit for power and communication. That power source is psychic energy, and wraithbone is psychically conductive. So you can see how that might have helped with the Dark Age Golden Throne and tying to the description we get, though it's not explicitly said. So that's the first tie. Then during the End and the Death Part 3, whilst the Big E is fighting his traitor son Horus, we get this excerpt. This is from Horus's point of view. He turns, head low, and applies a stunning sequence of sword strokes that he must surely have been taught by a aeldari autarch. Now, an aeldari autarch commands an elder warhost. They are a leader amongst the aeldari. Horus is a fighter himself, so has a pretty good idea of where styles comes from, and from what I've read and seen, you can't pick up a sword and swing it well overnight. A style takes time to establish, so I think that the Emperor might have spent time with the aeldari to learn this, either learning from one of them, from fighting against them, or perhaps taking the fighting skill from the mind of at least one. Either way, it shows ties. Then there is knowledge from the aeldari. We also know he has details of the fall of them from somewhere. He tells the Custodes within the Master of Mankind about this, how he knows about Slanesh, how the aeldari fell, and what they used the webway for. Then we have his knowledge of the webway. It's even a thing that he tries to replicate with his webway project, which in brief was part of his great work, his solution for humanity. With this goal in mind, the Emperor ordered the Mechanicus to build the human webway tunnels. The Golden Throne itself made a portal into the webway, and the idea was for human parts to be connected to the aeldari paths, i.e. he has a throne from the Dark Age already and has linked that with the Wraith Bone. It makes sense he could extend this knowledge of combining tech to the webway itself, even if it's not a one-for-one match. When asked in Master of Mankind where the tech comes from, the Emperor doesn't say either way, but some time spent with the aeldari could explain these occurrences and their contribution to humanity, and then they can combine this with his own knowledge to bind the aeldari tech with that of the Golden Throne, to combine the human webway with the actual aeldari webway, and learn the little swordplay along the way. At least that's one way to look at it. One last extra part, and I'll confess a stretch, but here goes. Could he have seen one of the webway making machines in order to figure out how to make his own human parts to connect to the webway? Because there are machines that made the webway from the Lion Arcs of Omen. The webway was originally fashioned by the Old Ones using metaphysical tunneling engines of unimaginable power. Its eerie winding corridors and mist-shrouded vault exist in a liminal space that stretches between the warp and real space, while occupying neither. Many strange and ancient races, the various branches of the aeldari, chief among them, employ the webway to move swiftly across the galaxy and to conceal some of their greatest and most terrible secrets. Not bloody likely, but thought I'd throw that idea in there. So that's today's video. The Emperor using aeldari knowledge he gains from somewhere to help humanity's tech from the Dark Age of technology, so that he can protect humanity from chaos in the time of the heresy. So, what do you think to these ideas? I feel there's enough links there to suggest something, but it's not clear enough, though it occurs to me that whilst I write this, could he have communicated with the aeldari using his psychic might and got some of this information? We see, for example, when he finally meets Magnus the Red, one of his Primarch's sons, face to face, that Magnus says he has already been communicating with his father. So could something like that have happened? It's a maybe. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Dark Age humanity made the throne, or it somehow reached tech via the aeldari by a bad delivery driver? And if you like this video in 40k, then why not try this one? And if you want a bunch of videos in 40k, then why not check out the playlist on the channel? One covers the Dark Age of tech, and the other covers everything else. I also cover Trench Crusade, which shares a lot of real-world DNA with 40k, and Dune, which I'll be getting back to very soon, later this year. I currently have half a dozen 40k videos on my desktop to work through first. And since the time of recording that last little bit, I've got the number of videos on my desktop down to 4 videos, sort of adjacent to the Emperor, the Dark Age of technology, that sort of stuff. One's about how he stole the fire using Dark Age technology possibly. One's this video you're hearing right now. The other is about a Dark Age of technology titan, not the one from the Grey Knights book, but the one from a much older short story that I recently fell across. And then there's the one combining technology from the Gellerfield's the Syracux Anima, which is a Dark Age of technology device within a Sci Titan, and some other little bits just to try to get an idea what Dark Age humanity's knowledge base might have been. So that's what I'll be working on and releasing in the coming weeks. Hope you enjoyed the videos.